Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in to us from. And we'll welcome you to another episode of the Fueled Life podcast. And our purpose here is to bring simple application opportunities for you to have a fueled life. And a fueled life is your brain health, your spirit health, your um, energy health, your physical health, all of these things. And taking these elements, we're going to demystify it. This is so simple to apply that's the purpose of this podcast. So I'm joined today with my host again, Charlie Collins, and we are co-partnering to bring this information to you. Welcome, Charlie, and how are you today, my friend?
I'm well, thank you, Stanley. Yes, Charlie Collins, and I am, well, of course, grateful to be here. And you said options, and another thing that we're doing that we often talk about is just awareness. It's be curious, ask a question, challenge what mainstream media or internet just challenge maybe that might not, because it isn't working for me. It's really, and trust your body. It'll talk to you. It'll give you signals and say, hey, that very stuffed baked potato with that mound of yummies all over it, I don't feel so hot after that, but it's probably because of something else.
Yeah. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. It is gut health and gut biome. And I know that's a big word, and it's probably not a common phrase that we use, but there's a lot of things that we don't commonly think about. And what we want to do is just make this kind of one of those words that you go, oh, that's what that means, and just demystify it. So what are microbiomes in our gut? They're these tiny little good bugs that go in and help process our food and distribute them to the rest of our body. And when they're healthy, guess what? The food that we bring in gets to be used as fuel. No pun intended, but that's what a fueled life looks like. And when your gut is fueled, guess what happens? Just like Charlie said, you can put all the yummies on that whatever it is. You pick your enemy, whatever that is, and put all those yummies on there, and they're delicious on the taste buds. But when they hit the gut, Charlie, you and I are old enough to remember the commercial for Alka-Seltzer, and it was, I can't believe I ate the whole thing, right? Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. And what was happening was we ate all that whole thing, and then we started to feel the side effects of eating that. Has that ever happened to you?
No, I can't relate.
Well, good. Then you can't.
I figured it out at a very young age how to stay healthy and vibrant and thriving and full of energy. And I'm just kidding. So the food that's out there is designed in a certain way, and food, any food that's designed, that's something you want to question, because they don't design vegetables. They come out of the ground or whatever. So, but you got to look at, have you ever ate more than you anticipated? Yes. If you're asking, I'm asking myself, I most certainly have. And even though I'm like, I'm not hungry, I feel okay, but I'm continuing to eat. Oh, that's interesting. And whether it's cake, potato chips, wings, you go out to meet your friends at happy hour, and you're just like, wow, like we're consuming many more calories these days.
Mhm.
And what's been uncovered is that the people that are making the foods are putting things in to block the part that tells us stop eating, and it triggers the part that says keep eating.
Right.
Because they're in the business of selling product. not in our health.
Yeah, and the thing is, we're not taught that the foods that we bring in are giving us the energy long term in certain foods. And certain foods will give you a quick boost of energy, but it's not lasting. So we go through this vicious cycle of up and down and up and down. And it's like a roller coaster. Now, I love a roller coaster, but put me on a roller coaster all day long and I'm going to get nauseous. I mean, if I never was able to get off, we wait in line 4 hours for a 17-second ride, and it's a thrill. But if I was on that ride continually without it stopping, without it, I would get sick. And I remember, those rides that the floor would drop and you'd spin around. Well, that's what's happening to our gut when we don't give it the right fuel. The floor drops out and we start getting a little queasy, a little lightheaded, or a little foggy, or we get headaches, or we don't have the energy that we had before. And when we understand that contributing factors such as the chips, the pop instead of water, or a vegetable snack, or even a healthy dried fruit snack, something that gives that crunch, these are things that change how the chemicals in our stomach are able to then send chemicals to our brain. And that's what the microbiome does.
It's a living organism. It's like, I mean, we have 37 trillion cells in our body.
Yeah.
I recently asked Google, and I'm like, wow. And then I thought, who counted them?
Right. Yeah. Who did count those?
That would take a long time. But anyway, and in our guts, we have like a living, it's not like ants, or those are in our brain, automatic negative thoughts. But it's just, and it's something we feed that then does the right thing in our body. So, and I don't know, I never knew any of this. What I heard was if your gut hurts, or you take Tums, Rolaids, plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. You milk of my Lanta, whatever it is. So you go ahead and carry on the way you're going, because we're not talking to you about like thriving and this energy, vibrance, vitality. We're just want to fix. We're going to cover the symptom of you not feeling good. And you said it, Stanley. It's like in the afternoon, am I feeling a little sluggish? Am I a little sluggish even when I go to good night's sleep, like a little fog? Do I walk in and out of rooms and go, why the heck am I in here?
Right.
Am I thinking, is my body calling for a Snickers bar, a Red Bull, another cup of coffee in the afternoon, or a nap? And it's not because I'm 57, and it's because I have decided to put things in my body that my microbiome says, well, we got to get the best of this to send 20% of it up to your brain. And then, well, my gosh, what are you doing to me? And then it offloads it, it stores it, triggers insulin, it goes to the liver. I mean, I had no idea the journey of all this and how it was affecting me.
Exactly. And you talked about, and we're just going to use Snickers as a proverbial whatever it is. It's just a fix.
A candy bar.
Yeah, a candy bar. So when you have that craving, there are bacteria in your gut. And we know that a lot of bodies have parasites, and we don't need to get too deep into that, but that parasite has a craving. It's like a little child having a fit, and they're kicking their feet, they're throwing things down, they're screaming at the top of their lungs, and they're saying, give me another one. And that's why we go to the cabinet and we go, oh, this is going to satisfy me. But it's not satisfying because there's a need for more and more. And when we start to correlate with what we're putting in there, the fuel, and how long that fuel lasts, then it changes our energy throughout the day. And, when you find yourself in those moments of being in the zone, you just lose track of time. You are at your optimal being. And that's what it is being, not just doing. And it's because you've given your body the right fuel. And that's what it is. And this is not taught in schools. It should be right next to, learning how to read, learning how to write, learning how to add and subtract. It should be learning how to eat so that we can add and subtract, so that we can write, so that we can fuel our curiosity and become creative the way that we were designed.
Mm. I would think that also there's a part when well, first of all, opening the cabinet and having choices that don't serve your body, your mind, your spirit, that's step one. But anyway, when I was doing that, yes, the decision to walk to I started to feel better already. I hadn't even put it in me. So it does. That's the trick. It does offer some ease and comfort. It does. It's like, okay, now I'm putting an end to this, whatever it might be. It could be just an overwhelming idea that I need late oats, potato chips right now. And it's like, do I really know? But so anyway, you do that, you go there, and then oh God, and you're feeling good. Then it hits and it activates that pleasure center of the brain, and then it shuts down, and then you go. No wonder why that they're saying is can't eat just one. Like who would?
Right.
But it's what they should say. We'll be dumping the crumbs from the bag after you opened it, and you'll be like, "Dang it, I did it again." And it isn't your fault. It maybe in the beginning you can, but over time, it takes charge. It takes control. So we think we're weak-willed and we can't do, but there's something more powerful in this food reading, and that's just the brain side of it. Like we're talking about when it hits the gut, all sorts of things happen that aren't making you thrive at 57.
Exactly. And that's it, Charlie. Like you said, not having the choice that goes against what we really want to do. And, one thing that I want to say is there's not a one size fit all. So understand you can add certain things to your foods. I personally love sauerkraut, but there are people that cannot have fermented foods. So what can you do? You can add fibers, and you can add, like Charlie, you turned me onto a healthy chip that is not made with flours, has no grains in it, has no seed oils, has nothing bad, because I love eating salsa. Like there is salsa in my house continually.
Homemade salsa.
Homemade salsa, not that store-bought stuff. That I don't eat that garbage. Okay. And anybody that gets to see this, if you want, I'm going to do a master class on making salsa, and it's only $9.99 this week. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, but it is not having the choice, not having those chips or those cookies or that pleasure center satisfier on that top shelf that is eye level. So as soon as you open the pantry, it's blaring at you saying, this is what you're hungry for. You go, no, but I wanted a nice yogurt with some fiber in it. And you open the pantry, the yogurt's not in there. The cookies are. Well, who put those cookies there? I put those cookies there when I bought them at the store when I was hungry last week. But I said I was only going to have one at a time.
15 later.
15 later. Yes. Well, I had a little bit more milk. So I had to have another cookie, not to waste that milk, right?
Exactly. Oh my God. I used to get the lower a teacup type of thing, and I would put whole milk in there and then like 6 Chips Ahoy and crunch them up and then eat it. And I mean, luckily I was like 15, 18, and then I would like be done and I'd be like, why do I want more cookies? and the younger, I could burn that off, and it didn't. But over time,
Right.
for those people that drive cars, or you got this things around us that you sense when something's going on. Maybe there's a tick in the motor, there's a wheel shaking a little. It feels like maybe low tire. Well, of course, now cars tell you the tire pressure, but there's all systems that are running like a body, and you get clues that something's not right. Now, if you take when the engine light comes on and you get electrical tape and cover it on the dash and move about your day, it's gonna rear its ugly head. And same in our body, we're all getting clues, and we're getting messages from our microbiome, our brain, we're getting these messages saying, hey buddy, or getting a headache. And maybe you go to the doctor. Now, I'm not a doctor. You're not a doctor. We're guys that lived one way,
Yep.
Opened the door to possibility, learned about our body, our systems, put it into action, and got results. And that's what we do, is we share. So, you can ignore what's going on with the car, and eventually it's going to fail. Right. And you can ignore what's going on with your body and deny it, or the doctor. And, I went to my doctor and I'm like, what do you know about the gut microbiome? How about metabolic? And yeah, we don't learn any of that in school. And right. Nutrition, nothing. And I'm like, so I educate her, and she loves it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing of it is, and this is what I want to also present, is that you can't just take a vehicle to any mechanic. Like, if you have an import and you take it to a Ford mechanic or a Chevy mechanic or a Chrysler mechanic, they're not going to be able to work on it because they're not trained in that. It's not that they're not trained to be a mechanic. No, they're very good at what they do, but they're specialized. And this is what we're doing in this podcast. The Fueled Life is to give you a glimpse to begin to flip over that 1,000 piece puzzle and flip it over so you start to see the image that can be made, and take one thing that we present and flip over the next piece of puzzle. And as they become, now you can start to see colors come together. You can fit them together. Now you got two pieces of the puzzle together. Now, here's the thing of it is, the information that we're going to bring throughout this series, and also especially about gut biome, is that you can't just do it one day and call it good and think that that's going to be the be all end all. It's kind of like going to the gym on January 2nd because you're bloated on January 1st and you're making your New Year's resolution. And that is to get up earlier, eat better, but after today, because it's New Year's Day and we've got all these celebrations, right? So January 2nd, the gyms open up and they're flooded, like people are lined up. January 14th, it's back to an empty capsule. So take this and apply it daily. Take one element and start to notice what could be changing if it were changing, and give it that time. Give it a couple weeks. They say it takes 21 days to create a habit, but some say it takes 66 days to create a habit. Whatever it takes to create that habit for you and to get the results that you're looking for is going to be independent and personalized.
Yeah, it takes today. You make a decision, take the action. Then tomorrow, make the decision, take the action. And don't worry, oh my God, I'll never be able to do it. Do it a day at a time.
That's right.
And so, Stanley, I have a brother-in-law who is 70. And he has a good gut biome. He's got, the guy can ride his bicycle without a motor 125 miles.
Wow.
At his age. He can work all day outside doing in the yard and trees and cutting the lawns. I mean, he doesn't take naps. He doesn't go to bed, doesn't have dinner at 4:30. And but you know what I mean? It's like, and then I had a guy that was 82, a friend who still was walking 8-10 miles a day. He was living vibrantly and happy and freed from the bondage of the food addictions and things like that. And because he got to choose, his day, his life, and what he ate. And he no longer was dictated by that inner calling of, buddy, a Red Bull and a candy bar. And you said it earlier, it does work. But where does it go? How is it processed? How is it made? What ingredients are in it? What does it do after it gives me that little initial high? It's like doing a line of cocaine. That works too. But, it was serious. It's pretty, it's like, or do I clean up and, the internet and be careful? But there are so many books and so many things out there. Where Stanley and I don't want to be follow this exact plan, because your plan needs to work for you. And you do the work, and it's not a lot of work. Right. And like I switched out and I changed and I did things, and I look forward to eating celery. I look forward to having a hard-boiled egg. You know what I mean? Stuff like whole foods.
Yeah. When you mentioned that, at what cost are we paying for instant gratification? And before I go on, I just want to do a little pause here, do a little break. And I want to say, hey, if you are enjoying this podcast, if you are enjoying the information that we're bringing and the transformation, you're starting to feel a little transformation, you know what to do. Subscribe, like, and share this. And we're going to bring these messages to you, but you know somebody that could use this information, and you don't have to tell them all the content. And maybe it's somebody that you really love and say, hey, I watched this podcast with these guys and they're talking about the fuel, and I think you'd really gain a lot out of it. Not that you need any, but the information that you already have, this could enhance it. So do yourself a favor, do your friends a favor and your family, and send them the link to this. Like, subscribe, and share this. Okay, so let's get back into that. I just wanted to put that in there, and I'm going to do that throughout our podcast. I think that it just brings it back up to the memory. While you're thinking about it, send the link to someone, share, make a comment, and let's go forward. So, you talked about these two men that are in their accelerated age, but the energy that they have is actually probably higher than a lot of the other younger prototypes that their counterparts at 35. I mean, at 61, I have more energy than most 30-year-olds. Mm-hmm. And this is the way I want to be for the next 40, 50 years, however long I get to be here. I want to have this kind of energy. I want to be able to run and jump and climb and play and fall and swim. And the only way that I can do that is by bringing in this fuel for what I'm doing, what I'm processing. And like you said, I was laughing because I just talked to a client, and they had a light that was lighting up on their dash panel. And they put a Post-it note in front of it because it was just in their face when they were driving in the dark. So they put a Post-it note over it. And guess what happened? They had to call a tow truck. And there was the check engine. Well, there was a reason for that computer saying, hey, something is going wrong. And this is what's happening when you feel like the end of the day, you're just exhausted, you're tired, you're fatigued, you're having brain fog, you're having pattern interrupts. You go to the kitchen and you go, what am I doing here? And
I always know when I go to the kitchen, I just default to food. It's when I go in other rooms, I'm like, why did I walk in here?
Right. So it's the food that we're feeding our gut. And when you consider what you're bringing in, this is the fuel that you're giving this main vehicle that is giving you the results that you are wanting. Or if it's not, then change the fuel that you're giving it.
Yeah, it's cars ping. They make that, and the engine's going. I am not running at my best efficiency. Something's up, so I'm going to make that irritating pinging noise. And I've been in like someone's car. I'm like, do you hear that? Yeah, it does that all the time. Okay. Well, did you ever think? No. And our bodies ping. It could be, Stanley, you were saying about the energy these people have, but it's not. I had energy in my 20s and 30s, but it wasn't joy. It wasn't like bliss. It wasn't gratitude energy. It wasn't feeling one with nature or anything. It was crap I had to get done. And that's the difference. And people are like my buddy's like blessed to be able to and looks forward to. It's not like has to get things done. It's a different energy too. The fuel from healthy eating, your body will deliver it to you. You don't have to say, hey, at 10 a.m., give me a jolt of dopamine. And because you've taught your body.
Yeah.
So when you go cut 3 trees down, now at 100 years old, I hope I'm around because I want to videotape you cutting down 3 trees. Sonny, will you sharpen my blade?
Yeah.
But by then we'll have some computer chip that you just touch the tree and it goes away.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure of it. Yeah.
So, and I like that, Stanley. It's like, what are we all about? Be curious, ask questions. If you go to a doctor and they put you on some sort of, high blood pressure, and I don't want to go down that, but if you're on medications for all things because your body's out of whack, I'm not saying to do this, but I'm saying that food and treating your microbiome, your gut biome, your metabolic of your all your cells, they're going to say thank you, and then they're going to tell you stop taking medication. I'm not telling you that, but that's what I've seen over people over the years I've coached. First, I had to do it. Stanley, I woke up. I had a bowl of Life cereal or waffles, yummy, with milk. So
Life cereal.
I know. Talk about an oxymoron. And but even better, Life cereal with cinnamon. And they know when they make that what it does. I mean, do you let it soak so it's mushy, or do you hit it so it has a little crunch? I was hitting it with the crunch. And I would find myself starting to eat a bowl and then doing a second one. And I'm like, I couldn't stop it. And then I go to work and that gave me energy because it's loaded with sugar. But then the crash came. Now I need a blueberry muffin, another cup of coffee. I have no idea I'm doing things wrong. I don't know. And then, lunchtime, it's like get fried cauliflower. Oh, yummy. Get some fast foods but we call it diners and things. and then like I got a call and I'm kind of and it's because my body is working so hard to say, first of all, what the hell did you just do to me? Now I got to go to work to digest it and try to do, because my job is to keep you alive and healthy. That's and right. Your job is to feed me the right tools, resources, and you haven't been lately. So now I'm going to start sending you some messages. So anyway, then in the afternoon, I would eat pretzel rods. I would drink diet caffeine free Coke, because, you can't get any better than that.
Right.
And then I would have dinner, and it was basically, but it could be shake and bake. And then I would eat chocolate ice cream with peanut butter and watch TV, go to bed. And do you think I started having fog, some aches in my body, headaches? Do you think I was a bit sluggish in the morning and then started to get a little irritable, maybe waves of self-pity and depression? And I don't know that the life, because all around me, it's the right way to live. Go see your doctor, he'll fix it.
Right. And when we give that power over to somebody else that doesn't have the information, okay, so nothing here again, nothing against your general practitioner, nothing against them, but they're not a specialist. And if you go and ask a generalist a specialty question, you're going to get a general answer for a special need. And I'm not talking about anything more than that. It's the same difference is if I have an import car, I cannot take it to a domestic mechanic. It's just not going to work unless they're trained in that. Mm-hmm. And the best way to find out if your coach, if your nutritionalist, or if your mentor is trained in it is, do they have any experience with it? And are they applying it? And this is what makes the difference. And this is what you're alluding to is that, listen, I can't come to, somebody that's a relationship specialist and ask them about nutrition. They're not gonna know a lot.
Well, it is a relationship with food.
Your relation, and it's like it's my relationship with the internet. And I don't know if I lost connection, but I got a little bar that came across that says I lost connection. Now, when we lose connection with our gut, guess what happens? We have buffering that takes place. We have frames that freeze. They're inconsequential. But when our gut frame freezes, that's another story.
Yeah, but when we do lose connection or the internet slows down, what happens? We get irritated.
Yes.
We get, and that's what happens when we do the roller coaster, like you were talking about. I was up, I had that breakfast, and then I was high as a kite, and then here comes the crash. What do I got to do? I got to go up again. And then I gotta come down, and then if you're in my path on the way down, watch out. I might be like, "What do you want?"
Yeah.
Don't you know my gut biome is screaming at me, and I'm blaming you? And so you know what? Just if you're in your 50s, 60s, and you're just starting to question, just be curious. Like, I should have more. What is it about my lifestyle that is robbing me from vitality, from energy, from good energy, not just energy from synthetics or whatever, good organic energy that your body wants to give you. But we tell it differently, and it says, okay, then if that's how you want to play.
Right. I'm glad you brought that up, Charlie, because we live in an over-processed consumption of food. Our food is processed to the point that it has very little or no nutrient value in it.
It's not considered food anymore after they're done.
Food. That is exactly right. Thank you very much. Yes. I was talking yesterday on a platform, and we were talking about food, and I said, is it really food? If it's man-made, and I don't even need to bring up anything more than if you're purchasing it through a drive-through, chances are very unlikely that you're eating food. Just because you're putting something in doesn't make it food. It's kind of like liquid going into my gas nozzle. All liquid is not equal. So if I put water in there, I'm going to have some trouble.
You ain't going far.
You're not going to go far. No.
And you said all. I already forgot. Just kidding. I wanted to follow it up with all calories are not equal.
That's right. That's right.
Don't
Yeah.
ever believe, you know, you see these smart foods and it says only 150 calories of toxic garbage.
Yeah.
And calories is not the name of the game.
It is.
They're not all equal at all.
They're
My
not.
God, there's calories in a candy bar and there's calories in vegetables. And,
Right.
you know, that is such a, it's like, I remember count calories. I'm not counting calories.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never done it, never will. I just course correct. And Stanley, another thing, I have tried like juicing for a month. Besides, it was a lot of work. It didn't do, I stopped because I didn't see any benefit. I did a lot of work, a lot of cleaning, spent a lot of money. And then I tried that celery for a month, going up and buying massive amounts of it at Costco, doing it every day religiously. And I'm like, I don't. But where I did see the biggest benefit in the beginning was stop doing and then replace with. And over time, that urge, that feeling like somebody's inside of me saying, we're going to get some bad food, buddy, even though you told yourself this morning, today's the day, and you're not doing it anymore, you know. I hung out with a couple guys down at the shore, and when the mother, there was a single parent, when she would go to work, she would put through the handles of the fridge, she would put a chain and a padlock. So you couldn't get into the fridge to eat because she's, and I really, if you need to do that, put a new doorknob with a lock and give the key to the person you're going to want to choke throughout the day.
Yeah.
But
yeah. But whatever parameter it takes, and if we could do it on our own, we would have already done it. And this is where having an accountability partner comes in, and it's going, hey, you know what, man, I blew it today. Today I blew it. I went to the store and I bought an entire box of cookies and I just guzzled them. Now I feel like crap, but I want to let you know that I feel like crap and I ate this. So what are you going to do about that? And that's where the accountability comes in and go, you know, what were the thoughts that were going on in your mind? What were you craving? What was an emotion that you were wanting to replace? And sometimes those quick fixes can give us that emotion in a little dose, but after they take effect, they just like blow up. And then we wake up the next 3 days and we're paying for it. And we go, I'm never going to do that again. And then we find ourselves 3 or 4 months later because we've gone on that good track. And so this is why having accountability really helps and promotes the outcome that you want. And this is where having a coach, a mentor, somebody, a partner doing these things together and saying, hey, for the next 7 days, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And then you can encourage one another. So you're not in this alone. And that's the other thing I want to say is that if you feel like you're alone and you want help, Charlie and I both have the capacity and the ability to not only encourage, empower, and give you guidance. And that's what it comes down to, is having that guidance and knowing that you're not alone. You've got somebody holding your hand, encouraging you, cheering you on, but not doing the work for you.
Why wouldn't you want to be healthy? Well,
yeah.
But and quality of life. Go look at a place where seniors are that can barely move and they sit all day, and you know, ask them, what did you eat all your life?
Right.
You know, what did you do? Where did you live? What was in your environment? You know, of course, back to, well, I mean, and then you see a senior walk by who lives there. It's independent living. And it's like, what do you do?
Right.
You know, there's such a contrast to people. And if I'm in my 80s and I'm not able to do what I do right now.
Right.
there's going to be a problem.
Exactly.
They're going to just go to McDonald's every day and chew to the bitter end, or, you know what I mean? It's like, we don't give up. You're definitely not alone. You're getting pulled from a system that is designed to keep you addicted or to get you addicted. And it's not normal. Most people go out for happy hour. They go to restaurants. Here's a little one. It drives my family nuts. If I go somewhere, I'll say, what is this cooked in? How is this prepared? Does it, and they're like, they have to go back and forth to the kitchen a few times. And I said, it's like when I was a salesman in the motorcycle dealership, right? And somebody came in and asked me something about a motorcycle, and I didn't have the answer. And I was embarrassed, and I said, thank you for helping me with that. And so, of course, I devoured everything, and I knew. But it's like, if you're going to be selling plates of food, wouldn't you want to know the system? Where does the food come from? Is this meat organic, or is it loaded with hormones and antibiotics? And, but over time, you learn. I would say the first thing to do is do not eat cereal. That alone, because you're not spiking your insulin and your sugar, and you'll notice, and then you get, you just start taking a look at things and know that your body, when the good comes in, it starts putting the good back into you. Yep. And you'll notice that like knees and hips and backaches and headaches and emotions will calm down, and the anger, the depression, that noise people make, right. I can't, that stuff will take care of itself, because that's what the body wants for you.
Right. So the idea is that, when is now a good time to start making a change?
I think the answer was in that question.
I think you're right. You are very observant.
Uh-huh.
And so it's a simple step. One simple step. Small hinges move big doors. And if you apply that, you'll create a journey that becomes exciting. And yeah, it's going to be a little challenge maybe in the beginning, because you're going to be changing things. You're uprupting the system that's inside of you, but the results that you're going to get are going to far outweigh what you can imagine. And that's what this is about. So here again, I want to encourage you. Feel free to comment. Definitely remember to subscribe, like, and share. And join us again next week. We've got another great episode. I believe we are going to be talking about inflammation and chronic inflammation and how this is affecting us. So definitely join in. Oh, no, you know what? Next week, I will not be here. I am going to be gone. I'm going to be gone on a 3-day. We may move the day, but we can talk about that coming up.
Yeah, they don't. They just want to make sure there's something there for them to view. So, Stanley, yeah. I just want to hit on that one more time, because this is the important, really, really, really important. When you first decide and you start to try, and I don't mean it in a bad way, because your now intentions are shifting. I see it's possible to get healthier, and I'm in charge. You said it's not going to be too easy. It's going to be extremely hard, because the system is against you. It's easier for an alcoholic to stop drinking and get help, go into a program, do everything, because the consequences are much graver. They lose relationships and businesses and money, and they crash cars and hospitals. But with food, it slowly puts you in the ground. And I know that sounds weird, but it is. Ultra processed food, you cannot live a sustaining life on that. No way. So just know that, if were a drug addict, you did all that, and you were able to finally hit a bottom and you said, that's it. But I can guarantee up till that, you said that many times. And then you relapsed, you went back. And, you know, I know a lot of us on this said in the morning, I am feeling like crap. I had way too much ice cream last night, even though in the moment I couldn't stop and it tasted yummy. And, but in the morning, I'm like, oh God, I feel like I drank a case of beer last night.
Right.
Not like I've ever done that. Haha. And I'm like, there's no way I'm doing that tonight.
Right.
I'm done. I want to be healthier. And then guess what? My programmed mind and day and the way I've been living life rears its head. All of a sudden, I'm starting to dip back into what I think is right. And then I'm sitting there that night. You know, I worked hard. I came home on time. I had a nice dinner with my girls and my wife, played with the dog. I have earned this bowl of ice cream. That's just my programming saying, I'm going to win. There's no way you're going against me. So you're not alone. But like Stan, if you, I don't even want to say it like this, but if you think that you're just going to do this and you made a decision, you're putting your flag in the sand, that flag's coming out. And it's not your fault. You're not weak. You're not dumb. You're not, none of that is the truth. It's something that is hitting a part of the brain that they know is going to speak to you and it's going to drive you. So you hire a coach, you go into a group, you do this, you do that. But I know from my personal experience, once the seed was planted, you know, the healthy seed was planted, the universe opened, and I didn't get it all at once, but each step.
That's
and
right.
We're here to support you on the journey.
That's right. Yep. That's a great place to close this. And I just want to encourage everyone again, have a fueled life.